Hoodie guy coming back with another one. Well, I guess the United States, when I was asleep, I woke up to news. These guys are posting 6 hours ago that the United States and Israel began major combat operations in Iran. So I hope everyone in Israel, the Middle East, all the regular people, even the regular people in Iran that are getting caught in the middle of this because of what their government, um, because they're attacking because of government, not because of but what a bunch of regular people are doing. So I hope all the regular people in that region are safe. It's spreading into some of the other countries a little bit that are around that area. Looks like the UK maybe even has planes involved. So, I mean, the best is for a speedy resolution on that. This sucks that in the end, it's the regular people getting caught in the crosshairs. Um, but yeah, the Dow Jones. So crypto, obviously, Bitcoin's in the 64 or 5,000. Dow Jones is pretty close to its all-time high. S&P. It's just interesting. I dropped my taxes off with my accountant, and he's like, thinks the tariff stuff's kind of overblown, and then I was like, yeah, our company's affected, and our sales are down on one of our products where we didn't have to raise our price, but the one that we did have to raise our price, sales are down too. But he's like, yeah, because you make your stuff in China. Well, okay, but if we made it in the United States, it'd be at a higher price point and people wouldn't buy it. So it's easy to blame people for getting stuff made overseas, but part of it is that you're also trying to bring something in at a competitive price. So it's a double-edged sword. He thought the economy is going pretty good because the stocks are up, and if you have stocks in your portfolio, that's good. But with war, we know there's usually volatility. I was surprised to see that Bitcoin was up. It looks like it was, I don't know exactly when they went to war, you know, 6, 7 hours ago, and then it's kind of crashing back down now. Yeah, I was surprised it shot up. Usually this stuff, this chaos leads to more uncertainty. But you can see that pretty much outside of a couple weird ones, there's pretty much red in the top 100, which is no big surprise there. But when I think you can look at some things like you know the inflation in the United States is kind of sticky, but unemployment's not crazy. So there's parts of the economy that's doing fine. GDP growth slowed. There's some metrics you can look that the economy's not going great. I think that the stock market's not really an accurate representation because there's a lot of people in the United States that live paycheck to paycheck. So the S&P and Nvidia stock going up doesn't mean a whole lot for them. And inflations might have came down a little bit, but prices, that's just year over year, but the prices shot up so much in COVID that it's still a lot of people's wages didn't keep up. But meanwhile, Caspa is chugging along 10 blocks a second. I know that there's quite a few people working on, different projects, and I think the Caspa.com crews over in Israel are most of them, and a lot of the core devs. So, you know, hopefully they're safe so far. Whatever's been happening, with the conflict there, they've been safe. But yeah, it is what it is. It seems like sentiment's down, and between tariffs and this and that, and the 10/10 stuff that happened in October, um, just seems like crypto's hard. The stocks and gold have been able to get a footing to go up to that next level, and the crypto is really struggling. I imagine that if somehow these things were resolved by Monday, the market might really like it. Otherwise, you know, it kind of hit the market on the weekend here when the only thing you can basically trade is crypto until Sunday night when you can start basically doing the overnight with some lower liquidity. But if it's still going on Monday, there'll probably be a big Monday market dump. So it's almost better just to not tune in. I'm going to be going on a trip later today. And yeah, it is what it is. For me, if you look at the fear and greed, it's weird because if I ever talk about the views being down, I'm not complaining about it. I see people that sometimes post videos that are pretty good. They get almost no views. So I look at views as more of indicator of sentiment. And also, the people don't like my videos, and that's fine too. I mean, but typically, like if Caspa started ripping right now, you would see more views. So you can see that it's a little bit of like a fear and greed index when the market's down and it's showing extreme fear 14. To me, it just still feels like there's, since there's really no relief in sight, you can see that we're still in extreme fear. And, I guess we kind of made lower lows if you just, I mean, and I'm not even sure how they're really calculating this. I don't know if they're scraping social media, how they do it, a powerful tool that analyzes market sentiment. Um, they said it's the world leading one. You know that these are the best times to buy is when it's in extreme fear. And then once it starts getting up here to greed, the top of greed and extreme greed, if that's all you ever did is buy stuff in the red and then sell it up here and when it started getting up to the top on green, you did pretty good. But um, even though it's the fear and greed's not as low as it's been, to me it feels like the people are burnt out. Maybe they don't have money, they're just kind of like a turtle kind of going back in their shell. And you know, right now it looks like as much as a lot of different things have changed that, and whether there was some manipulation on the 10-10 event and all that stuff, and who's really responsible, that you have a lot of people that still think that the 4-year cycle is intact and we're going to an October bottom. Hopefully that doesn't play out, and if we go down to an October bottom, I don't see Bitcoin recovering by the end of the year to a point where it won't have 2 red years. So something's going to break. We're either going to have the first 2 red years ever, or the October bottom is not going to probably happen. So one of those is going to break, and right now, but I guess we just have to see how this conflict how long it lasts, and if it resolves quickly, the markets are like that. If that crypto, legislation happens to pass, I think that if you go to Polymarket, that the Democrats are going to get some power back. So maybe having that will, I don't know, stall stuff, or I don't know. It feels like that the divide between the two political parties is larger than ever. But, anyways, you got to just look what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for what I have, and I know that when it happens, if it was in a couple months or October, that the market will bottom, and that the world's getting more digitized, not less digitized. People are spending more time on their phones, not less. Even though we should try to spend less time on our phones, that's the way the world's going. So that's all I got. Um, hey, bro, pretty soon you'll be known as a Caspa visionary one day. Keep it up. Appreciate the videos. Thank Chad Dash baby Dashby. Chad Ashby, I guess. Oh, sorry, there's Chad Ashby. Well, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, hopefully one day. You just got to stay buckled up. No one said it was going to be easy, and we just somewhere this settles down, and you know, I guess if all you were invested in stocks, then Trump has been pretty good for your portfolio. They did crash pretty good, and but they didn't get that October crash kind of like we did so much. They didn't get the first tariff, crash, but it's been a pretty bumpy road on the portfolio, going up, down 50%, up, down, down 50%. But just staying patient and focusing on what I'm grateful for, and I'm grateful for everyone and tuning in. I appreciate you, and we'll get through this. And I wish I had more money to buy, but I don't, and I'm pretty comfortable with what I have. So it's just riding this out. And I remember kind of when Bitcoin hit 16,000 or whatever in November, December of 2022. There were, those were some dark days, and makes you question everything. But at the end of the day, it's possible that somehow people don't care about proof of work, but at the end of the day, things are getting more digitized. I'm going to make a little shorts video later about just what money is, and that's pretty much all I got. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll get through this. If you're in the Middle East, It doesn't matter what country you're in. If you're just a regular person, I hope you're safe. And thanks for watching and have a good day.